All right, as more restaurants and businesses get the go-ahead to slowly reopen, more people will be sharing public spaces after months of isolating at home.
And that means we'll have to learn some new rules about how to maintain physical distancing without offending other people. Joining us now with tips on how to be politely rude is civility and social etiquette expert Rosalinda Randall. Her new book is titled Keep Your Distance. Well, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. It's always a pleasure.
Oh, wonderful. Well, you know, obviously we're used to going up and shaking someone's hand and then refusing a handshake. It's always been considered rude. I mean, how do you refuse a handshake now?
Simply by saying, I'm sorry, I'm not ready to shake hands. There's all kinds of ways. I'm sorry. You know, sometimes we do shake hands. This is one thing, and I'm sorry, I'm skipping to that, is there have been people where they say it's just a habit, and I stick my hand out and people get angry at me. And that's where I believe a little bit of understanding and patience, because habits are hard to break. And if for some reason, especially the handshake, you happen to make contact, going on to my next point of quickly getting your wipes out or you're squirting hand sanitizer, the polite thing to do, that would have been considered rude pre-COVID. But now, to make it a little bit less awkward, is offer the other person a wipe or a squirt first, and then you can both wipe your hands. There's another way that you can do it, is if you accidentally shook someone's hand, is wait until they turn around and go wash your hands or take a squirt in a corner or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what if they want to hand you a business card or a brochure or something like that?
Yeah, things like that. I mean, it depends on where you are. I had someone say, hand me a phone. I forgot my phone, and someone just readily handed it to me, allowing me to touch it. It really depends on where you are. Some people will gladly, take any product and such. However, if you're not ready to, just say, would you please lay it there? Let me take a picture, or email the information. That's all simple, including products. You know, at the malls, they're no longer handing out products, but typically you just say, no, thank you. Keep it simple.
Yeah, I know when someone comes at me and they want to shake my hand, I go right for that fist bump.
Or the elbow.
Or the elbow,
You know,
yeah, you just kind of initiate it, right?
But, there's people that have been offended with that. And this is a big one, is, somebody wants to do that, or the toe tap. There are people which requires you to get a little bit closer than 6 feet. There are some people who want to make zero contact with you. And some people get offended by that. Like, hey, I'm doing the elbow, let's greet each other. Again, it comes down to respecting the other person and where they are. So don't automatically assume. I personally don't like any of those things. I just greet and use the nod and using your words a lot better. And another thing is asking someone to step back, especially if you're in close quarters. A neighbor comes into your garage and wants to talk. It's okay to say, would you mind if we go out here? Again, people are going to get offended. And all you can say is state the truth of where you are. I'd rather be out here in a space, or a coworker. Hey, why don't we go outside? Why don't we go into this open area? So those are a few things that you want to do. And also people that come in and like to touch things. There's a lot of fidgeters that might want to touch your things, or you go to a salon. You try not to. You can just tell someone, I just wiped down. I prefer that you didn't. Or people bring in their coffee cup and set it down. They're touching your things. And again, it's the level of that person, and we want to try and respect to that.
Okay. And then, what about asking about a person's medical condition? I mean, it used to be considered rude. Is it all right to ask someone about their health status? Have you been tested for COVID or things of that nature?
Yes, at this point, yes. I mean, there are places. I just went back to my exercise studio, and they take my temperature and they ask me the same questions. Have you traveled? And you have to be willing to do that, or else they cannot accept you. Some restaurants will ask you. So we have to be willing to divulge a little bit. And people that are very private with their medical health history, that's going to be very difficult. But if you keep it just to that, have you traveled? You're going on a date, instead of saying, hey, what's your sign? Hey, when's your last COVID result? Those are things that are going to be more common to ask.
Well, this is a question, this could be considered probably rude anytime, no matter what's going on, but asking someone how they're going to vote?
Yes, and that's a big one. I had to address that. No, it is never okay to ask anyone to vote. I mean, you can, but the people may respond in a very negative manner. Now, if you want to post on social media, whoever you're supporting, that's a different thing. But also, when people do ask how you're going to vote, sometimes it's to challenge you. Is it to impose? Is it to change your mind? And most of us don't want any of those things. So be careful who you ask. I would really refrain from asking anyone at work, especially, or anyone that's an instructor of yours. It's just something that is still considered a little bit taboo.
Okay. All right. Well, once again, Rosalinda Randall, she's a civility expert and social business etiquette trainer and author of the new book, Keep Your Distance, Your Guide to Common Dilemmas in Uncommon Times. Now, for more tips and advice, check out her website. And once again, Rosalinda, thank you so much for joining us and giving us some great advice.